Hi, good morning, everyone. So I'd like to welcome everyone to our Rise Up and Act Youth Summit, CuidaMe. I hope you're ready for what the youth have prepared for you and put together. So before we get started, I do want to mention that this session will be recorded. My name is Miguel Villegas. Nice to meet everyone here. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a community organizer at the Wall Las Memorias for the Rise Up and Act program. So CuidaMe came about as like a Spanglish phrase that meant take care, and we emphasize the word me in it in our messaging, just to remind folks to take care of oneself. So I think that many times we love to give back and take care of others, and we want this summit to remind folks to take that moment to reflect and say that, like, I need to take care of me and myself as well. So a little bit about the program. So Rise Up started about 2 years ago, for those of you that don't know. It started at the height of the pandemic. It began as a virtual program for youth to still be able to advocate for healthy policies in the communities. And so as part of the program, we started a social media campaign that would serve as a COVID-19 resource and awareness campaign to keep youth and their communities just basically up to date with relevant and creative content. So the first year of this program were bi-weekly workshops and trainings that highlighted how and why our communities are far more disproportionately impacted from topics such as mental health, substance use, COVID-19. So this year we have been able to meet in person and hold in-person workshops. So we have gotten the chance to connect with community through different in-person events, such as like the health fairs in high schools and community events like A New State of Mind, put on by one of our amazing partners, Cheeto Foundation. Our youth are well into their first, second, and third years of college now, and they're applying for scholarships and other programs. So we hope this program has been a part of developing their skills as leaders.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stevie, and I'm a community organizer with the Wall Las Memorias for the program Rise Up and Act. I'm so glad that you all took the time to be here. We hope that the self-care workshops today will help you take more time for yourself. Excuse me. We must remember that self-care is not self-indulgent or being selfish. Self-care is to keep yourself healthy and well. We're here to show you how to physically, mentally, and spiritually take care of yourself. Many of us here today understand the long days of working and or going to school. Some know both. The constant hustle and the grind of the day can really start to weigh on you. But if you stop and take more opportunities for self-care, you're giving yourself a break, a moment to reset. It's important to relieve the pressures of everyday life and get back to a healthy state of mind. It's no secret that mental health and addiction are a growing problem. However, there are simple, impactful steps you can take to help manage or prevent them from rooting in your life. We hope that all of you will join in on trying these new techniques, take notes, and be present. Before we get started, I'd like to ask everyone to type in the chat current things that they are doing for self-care. So go ahead and put in the chat what you're currently doing as a form of self-care. I'm gonna let that chat just kind of blow up for a second. Drinking tea. I should have made myself some tea. It's a good one. Writing poetry. Love. I love that. See some listening to music, journaling, going on a walk, important. Coloring. Gratitude and journaling, yoga, walks in nature, writing, drinks, tea. It's fantastic. It's really great to see you all talking about different things. And I hope there's some new stuff that we can learn today. So we want to continue to bring you more in-person workshops in the future. So please make sure to follow us on Instagram at Rise Up and Act to be updated on all upcoming events and workshops that we'll be having. So now let's get started.
Our first presenter, Lisa Rocha. Sorry if I'm butchering.
No, Rocha is correct.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. All right, so Lisa is the jewelry artist of Filaments Jewelry. Her jewelry has been in InStyle magazine, sold at Fred Siegel, in museums like the MoLA, Autry, and National Museum of the American Indian and New York City and Washington, D.C. So some of Filaments' clientele also include Morrissey, Gwen Stefani, Erykah Badu, just to name a few. So her designs have been in boutiques across all over the US and now at the Goddess Mercado boutique. Her designs infuse culturally inspired colors, stories, and healing gemstone properties. Lisa has discovered how her clairvoyant gifts can help her clients heal through jewelry, vision board workshops, and spiritual mentorship, which is what she's here to do for all of us today. So thank you for being here, Lisa. Let's give her a warm welcome, okay?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Okay, I think we're ready. Yeah? Okay, cool. Everybody can hear me okay?
Thumbs
All right.
up.
Okay, cool. Thank you all for being here. My name is Lisa Rocha, and I wanted to do a few different tools than just journaling. Journaling is something that grounds you, but there's so many other self-loving tools that you can use for your whole mind, body, spirit. And this is why I titled it Journey to Self-Love, because it is a journey. Every day it's about applying these tools until it becomes like, you know, a muscle that you flex all the time. So if we could move to the next slide, which just will go over what we'll be talking about. So we're gonna talk a little bit about meditation and mindfulness and how to get yourself present. Then I'm gonna talk about visualization and how to use that as a tool through creating vision boards. You could either do it visual or manually. And then we'll talk about journaling and how that's helpful for self-love and healing and grounding. And then we'll talk about how to use affirmations. And then in the end, I end up putting some resourceful tools like books that really help my mindset. And we'll go from there. So you can move on to the next slide. This is just talking about who I am. I'm born and raised in Pico Union, South Central. I like to put that so it really gives, you know, a familiarity of where I'm from. I'm Mexican and Native American, Chicana, 4th, 5th generation, but I have been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. So within that 20 years, I create, you know, healing gems, but a lot of culturally inspired jewelry, which has landed me in all the places that Miguel mentioned, so I'm very grateful for that. But then my clairvoyant gifts is really something that I realized helped and connected with people when I was out doing community events and working with, you know, different collectives. So now I've included that in my higher purpose and how it, you know, really fuels my spirit and my joy as well. So we can move on to the next one. So let's start with mindfulness and meditation. If you're new to this and this is something you have never heard about, I did it just so that these would be a reference. So if anybody wanted this, thing that we put together afterwards, you could keep it just for your own self. But basically with meditation, you want to find a quiet space. You want to set a time. I like to start with 5 minutes because it doesn't get easier until you try it every day. You want to start focusing with your breath, taking 3 deep breaths in, and then also putting on either light music or some type of white noise. It could be listening to water. It could be, you know, jazz. It could be pretty much anything that really calms you. And then I put the chakras here because this is also something that's really great if you can't think of something else to do for yourself. Chakras are in Sanskrit, which is known as a wheel. So this is what balances your whole spirit. So you can, when you do meditation, you can either envision a whole white light around you and try to hold that white light, or you could even do chakra colors starting from your head to envision a purple to a blue for your throat chakra, a green for your heart, your solar plexus, yellow, orange, and then your root to red. And this really helps you kind of just get in the practice of also visualization besides meditating. And what this does, it really helps clear our mind. And when we have really hard times in our lives or we're going through something, this is a great way to step away from focusing your thinking on those things that are happening to bring you inner peace. And I, you know, as I do it, you know, you get better and better, but it's a really great way just to clear your mind, get present, and that really helps. That really helps at the end of the day. So if we want to move on to the next, and then at the end, if you guys have any questions, because I know we have a lot to cover, feel free to message me after or in here as well. So this is just visualization definition. If you've never heard of the book, The Secret, or seen the movie, The Secret, I highly recommend it. It is, known for centuries that your mind is really what creates your world. And so this is the definition that was from The Secret. So in the book, you'll find people's examples, quotes, and different things like that for inspiration. So visualization is the process of creating pictures in your mind of yourself enjoying what you want. When you visualize, you generate powerful thoughts and feelings of having it now. The law of attraction then returns that reality to you, just as you saw it in your mind. The Secret. So what I like to tell people when I'm doing my workshops is it's so easy. If we all were to just close our mind, and if you've ever been to Disneyland, you could literally imagine yourself in front of the castle, right? Like things like that. It's so simple to think of something that's really easy and tangible, and then apply that to other things. If you want to travel, if you want a new job, if you want a new car, everything is about already seeing yourself presently doing that right at this moment. And it's about practice. I still have, times where, I have a hard time feeling that becoming that new person, right? Or creating that new reality. So visualization, it's going to take practice, but basically it's already, when you're meditating, pitching yourself already doing those things. And what really can bring it into reality is actually going and doing those actions. So if you want a new car, go and test drive it. If you want a new job, take an internship. If you want, inspiration, find a mentor, then apply the actions to the visualization, if that makes sense. Okay, so we can move on to the next. So this is where it gets really fun. I have for the past, I want to say 6 years, have done vision boards. And this came about because for myself, as I got older, I really wanted to do things for myself during my birthday that were healing. So I would create a sound bath party, or we created vision board parties, or, different things that made me feel good. And the vision board really stuck. And we had a party for my birthday one year, and everybody that was at that party ended up creating all these photos and placing everything on their board, and things actually came true and really happened. I got in the car that I put on my board. Someone got married, like all these different things. So in here, this is just a guide. You can create a digital vision board if anybody knows how to use Canva. It's really simple to do a desk wallpaper board, and you can actually type in and look for specific things, like subjects, travel, relationships, whatever it is that you want to imagine. And you select the images that you really want to bring into your life, and be really mindful about what you place on your board. You can create it with a foam board where you get, cut out magazine things, which you would need glue sticks or pins to have that type of hands-on experience. But then you can also, like I said, create the digital vision board. And if anybody needs help with any of that, you can always feel free to message me. The biggest part of vision boards and how it plays into visualization is using your intuition, what guides you and what really feels good. I brought a little bit of an example, and I don't know if hopefully you guys can see it. So before, I would do this for fun and just put whatever, that I wanted on there. But as I saw it come to life, I was like, oh crap, this is real. So I have to be really careful about what I put now, because it comes into my existence, which is not a bad thing. There's been a lot of good things, but just amazing things have happened. So I'm going to show really quickly. Hopefully, I don't know if everybody can kind of see. So this is, let me see if I could put it closer. So this is just a general vision board that I did. Can you see? This is just a general vision board that I did, and I put a house. You see the house, but it has a red door. And I just thought to myself, I just want a cool house, white picket fence type of idea. This is what manifested into my life. This is one of my best friends from high school in present day after 25 years. And that is exactly the house that they live in, with a red door. As you see on my board, it has a red door. I was not by any means trying to manifest that person back or anything like that, but this is what I mean about the power of visualization and what you put on your board. It could be even words. So for example, this one I didn't finish, and on the top it says my first bestie. Well, that also happened too. And I brought my first bestie back into my life. So when you're doing a vision board, really be mindful. If you want that BMW, be very specific, put that on your board. If you want to travel to Paris, be very specific, put that on your board. And then other things too, when you're looking at magazines, if pictures call your attention, put that picture. If words call your attention, this one says, I will manifest, you know, cut those out, because that's how you know your intuition is guiding you to what to put on to your board. But just be very mindful, because things do come into your reality. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. This is just a sample of a vision board that I did to inspire you. This was created on Canva. It's a digital vision board. So I was able to pull a collage on Canva and then type in specific things: travel, wedding. I love waterfalls because they represent abundance, a home, a car, yoga, and then quotes. Quotes are really great to inspire you, and vision boards should be placed somewhere that you can see it every day. It's okay to put it in your bedroom, in your office, your studio. Even you can snapshot it and put it on your screen on your phone, so you can see something, you know, it's there to just inspire you and create. You know, when you don't feel like you're mentally in a place where you want to be, you can transport yourself to really be somewhere else. And I think that's really helpful sometimes to get us through hard days. If you can move on to the next. Journaling. So in journaling, I put few different prompts here. The purpose of journaling, how to journal if this is something new to you, and to develop journaling. If you're not, you know, everybody heals differently. Some people like meditation. It's not easy. Some people like exercising. Some people like writing. Some people like listening to music or drawing. There's different ways that we all tap into how we can heal. I see someone asked a question about where to get low-cost magazines. For me, I like going to the library. Sometimes they have magazines that are already used that you can pick up on the site or buy for like 50 cents. There's a place here in Uptown Whittier that I like, that's right on Comstock. And I'll put it in here in the notes. It's on Comstock on Whittier. I can't remember the name of it, but basically it's a used bookstore. And you can also go to other used bookstores. And there I bought maybe like 20 magazines for like $11. If you want to physically use magazines instead of pulling off of the internet. Another great way is Pinterest is a great way also too. So moving on to the journaling. So journaling, it invokes being in the present moment. When you're having a hard day, let's say you had a breakup, you lost somebody, you know, you're grieving a lost one, you know, you're having a hard time figuring out what to do for work or for school, or maybe just having an argument with somebody. The mental wellness that journal brings, it brings you into the present moment. It's the writing that can help you understand how you feel in the moment, and also it helps your brain regulate your emotions. So it also provides you a sense of self-confidence and self-identity. So when we have issues and like I said, relationships, whatever's going on in our daily life, this is a great way where you can say your truth, like how you are feeling, without any type of judgment. And this is what brings self-confidence. Or let's say you're having a hard time expressing to someone how you feel, you can write it down first, get all your emotions out, and then it brings, you know, believe it or not, a lot of clarity. I find this to be super helpful every day. To get in the practice, I wrote to journal every day for a few minutes. First thing, you know, in the morning or at night, it's like you just do this whole mental dump. Believe it or not, it creates such a release. And then as you do this, it gets easier. Put the journal somewhere that's in easy reach. I always have mine on the side of my bed or in my desk. I love, me too. I love journaling. I also like doodling and drawing. But put anything that really feels right to you. A gratitude list is a great way to start journaling if you don't know where to start. And how that looks is you're going to want to, just say, I'm grateful for, and then just write in. So if you guys have any paper right now, I know they said that they gave everybody, they're going to be giving everybody kind of like, gifts and stuff as we go through here. But if you have paper, or you can write in your phone, in your notes, I would encourage everybody right now to write 3 things that you're grateful for. Take a few minutes to do that. And also write 3 things that you love about yourself. We really forget to think about what attributes of ourselves are great. You know what I mean? Like for me, I love that I'm a mom. I love that I'm a designer. I love, that I can bring these clairvoyant gifts. And what I mean by clairvoyant, because I haven't really explained that too much, what that means is that I can hear and feel and see spirit. Sometimes it's been a little bit overwhelming over the years until I finally, wonderful, till I finally realized this is a talent and a genuine genius talent that I have, and that it was helping people. So I kind of had to just give in to spirit and share it. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much for writing the 3 things that you love about yourself. I think that really helps to be interactive here. So the next thing for developing journals, you can do journal prompts, which is writing affirmations, gratitude list, writing down your goals and actions for your goals. Just getting your thoughts down on paper really gives a sense of grounding. So in mental health, to ground yourself, sometimes we do it through exercise, but really journaling is what I feel gets you in the present moment, because it makes you sit down and really think and write out how you feel. And those are it's a really profound way to speak your truth, to understand who you are and how you are feeling. It gives space for it. And sometimes we don't get the chance to do that because life gets busy. So if you guys have any questions with this after, please feel free to continue to comment, but we can move on to the next slide. So these are journal prompts, and you can find these online. You could Google journal prompts. You can also find them on Pinterest. There's so many prompts you could do for affirmations, love, business, you name it. There's so many subjects. I like to do affirmations where it's like, I am. For example, I am are the most powerful words. So you're going to want to put I am, and then, whatever you want to put after that. But basically, I would say do 5 affirmations, or you could write, best books that inspire you, maybe a poem. I just read a poem. Oh, wonderful. What are some tips for someone that is thinking faster than they can write? Well, luckily for you, I am an Aquarius. I'm an air sign. So I think way faster than I can speak. So you're just going to let your writing flow. Just go as fast as they come out. There's sometimes I feel like that's one of my other genius talents, that I can't write fast enough, but just let it, go at your own pace. If you feel you're going too fast in your mindset, take a deep breath and, and then reset. Exactly. Exactly. Take 3 deep breaths and then start writing again. Write down 3 wishes, and then, or write down a bucket list, gratitude list of people in your life, of things, that you love. What's your favorite exercise? Exercising, you could do a whole prompt on that. How, when, what kind, goals, fitness goals, any type of goals you want to achieve. Your 1-year goal, who inspires you and why? There are so many prompts, but it's just what feels good to you. I like to put these lists in front of me, because then it inspires me on what I want to write about that morning. Or if I don't have any idea, but I know I need to just ground my thoughts and think about something else. When we're, again, having issues in life, this is so helpful because it doesn't give energy to the problem. That's how our problems stay in our existence, is that we give it energy. If you no longer give certain things that are bothering you energy, they can't manifest bigger. So journaling really gives you a chance to kind of step away from that. We can move on to the next one. I'm trying to see if anybody, let me see. Any other questions? Okay, good. All right. This is about gratitude. I think gratitude is one of the biggest parts of journaling that really is important. When you're grateful, the more, it creates more positive thinking in your life. So communicating and writing down what you're grateful for, at least for me, brings a lot of positivity into my life. And in psychology research, gratitude, it says that it brings individual greater happiness. I really, truly do believe that, because when I think everything is going wrong around me, and I really stop to think about what is happening in my life, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really grateful for my health. I'm really grateful, oddly to say, I'm grateful for my hands, because it brings, you know what I mean? It helps with my skill set, my business. So that positive thinking, it ends up lifting my spirits. And it's also helpful, not only your emotions, but for your health, dealing with hard times, and also to build strong relationships, believe it or not. You can talk to, friends or family about just even making a phone call. I did that the other day. A poem inspired me to call somebody that it just kind of made me think about. And I just called them to let them know how grateful I was for them in my life. And then that causes, right, more conversation about good experiences and memories and things like that. Okay, so we can move on to the next. This is just prompts again to help you with journaling. These are affirmations that I pulled from a book called The Laws of Prosperity, and I will put it here. You can, The Laws of Prosperity, you can look it up on YouTube. It is from the 70s, believe it or not. Or I think the 70s or the 60s, something like that. It is so profoundly inspiring that it moved me to pull certain affirmations out of that book that you can use any time of the day. One of my favorites is that there is gold dust in the air for me. Through definite, deliberate, prosperous thinking, I now begin assimilating that gold dust. And even now I am beginning to experience gold dust results. So it is done. Any of these type of, affirmations can help at any time in your life. Another one here that says, I trust everything in my life to the tender care of the Creator. I know His will for me is health, happiness, prosperity, spiritual unfoldment, and all that is good. All of these, all of these words are so just helpful when you don't know what else to think about, but you need some type of, whether you pray, whether, whatever your higher power is, I like to say Creator, the Most High, it's really up to you. You can fill that in for yourself and your own personal, spiritual beliefs. But to me, affirmations are so how should I say, not only allows you to have guidance, but it also creates a result of a positive mindset. At any time that you're going through something, you can, you have to look at your mind like a TV station and switch the channel. When you can switch the channel from what you're presently going through to a mindset, to reading something, watching something, it can really change your day and can change you over time. So affirmations are very powerful. Do not underestimate the power of the word, and also writing things down. So I encourage you after this, this conference, this summit, to use these and physically say them out loud and physically write them, because it just makes them manifest more into your reality. Okay, so we can move on to the next. Okay. So here I just put self-love resources of what we just talked about. So it's important to, recognize I am a child of the universe. You can do that through meditation, visualization, the journaling that we talked about, vision boards that brings more of the visualization into power, right into your existence. Gratitude, finding your tribe. That was one part I did not put a big thing on, but you can do that here. You can put your name in the circle and you can put all these little arrows on the outside of who is my tribe, who are people that can help me, resources, or also even you can use it as a money map. What's my lowest hanging fruit? And you can, you know, emulate this what they call a wheel, a circle of resources. It's like a money map, but you could put what are the things that can help me and just start writing out what's available to you. Another thing I put inspiring books. That is my go-to because I love reading and it has changed my mind, you know, so much with so many different things that I have experienced. And the affirmations all the time, writing them down. It just brings me into a divine source that's bigger than yourself. So these are resources just to remind you of what you have to pull on for tools for self-love and just for healing and mental health. And we can move on to the next. Here I pulled up some of the most profound books that I have read, starting with The Power of Now, which is a guide to spiritual enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. Any of these books that you pull up, I believe you can even do audiobooks. If you don't like reading, you can do where you can listen when I know I'm always driving around LA, so I always pull up audiobooks. Ask and It Is Given is by Abraham Hicks, right? Audiobooks for sure for the win. I agree. Now, this is something you have never heard about in your life, like literally any of it. If you start listening to Abraham Hicks, she has a lot of videos on YouTube. It's going to take a minute to kind of sink into, to grasp how powerful you are as a being in this universe. But when you start really hearing it, you're gonna resonate. You're gonna find truth in how spiritually connected we all are, how there's a oneness happening in the universe. You're not alone. There are so many other people going through similar issues and challenges. But for me, it is just a great tool to learn how to manifest and to remember like who you are inside. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I've actually had the pleasure to meet him while he was alive. My friend used to have a store called Imish Books in Eagle Rock, and she would have all these amazing speakers come and writers come. And it's the Four Agreements. So it's a practical guide to personal, just how to be as a person, you know, be impeccable with your words. He gives you all these indigenous mindset tools to use as guides for your life. We move on to The Secret. If you have never experienced The Secret, never read it, you can also watch the documentary, and this is all on mindset, all on learning about how to manifest, how to understand the laws of attraction. What you think about is what you attract. How you feel is what brings it faster. When you lose, these are tools, and it's constantly figuring out how to. They're like a muscle. I still haven't mastered it as well, but I have seen things happen in my life very fast by learning a lot of these tools and being mindful of what I say and also what I think. If I'm having a bad day, I know I'm making that a bigger thing the more I put attention to it. So I do my best to apply any of these to change what I'm thinking about or how I'm feeling. The last one is called The Big Leap. This book I found while I actually got a mentor, paid for a mentor to help me with my business. And this book really helps you to focus on your genius talents. We all have our purpose in life, and we all have our own paths to find it. But The Big Leap is a really great book to help you figure out what your genius talent is. What I like to tell people, and I should have put this in another screen, is to find your genius talent. I'm going to write this, to find your genius talents. Write 5 AKAs that you could be. or you could be, or superpowers is another way. So for example, my genius talents. So if I could be something else than a jewelry designer, let me put this here. I would be a writer. That is a genius talent. I would be a dancer. You know what I mean? Like there's certain other things that you like in life that maybe presently, you know, if you like exercising, possibly there might be a genius talent in you to be a coach. If you like working with kids, there might be a genius talent to be a teacher. That's another one of my genius talents, that I'm a storyteller for sure. So I am just recently going to re-embark going back to school. So those are how you figure out your genius talents. You might be a cook, you know, even though say you're a driver for FedEx, you know what I mean? But on your weekends, on Sundays, all you can think about is cooking. So this is how you find out your genius talents. Is thinking about what are my other superpowers? What if I could be something else, what would that be? And besides that, it's really figuring out figuring out your sign, when you were born, the time you were born. These are your tools from spirit. Tools, hold on, I'm just writing it down for you guys. That helps you. These are tools from spirit. So exactly knowing when you were born really gives you a map of who you are, your mannerisms, and other things that you enjoy and would be good at. So I'm an Aquarius. I love writing. And the first thing for an Aquarius to be is a writer or even a scientist. Makes complete sense because I'm super analytical. So things like that. But those are kind of, tools that I use to help myself and as a guide, and to really help my mindset. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free. That is, I believe, the last slide.
I did want to say, if anybody had an opportunity to write down any of the journal prompts and possibly answer to them, did anybody want to share? I wrote mine in the chat because I figured it'd be saved.
Yeah, completely.
But I know we sent out journals to to the first 50 who had registered. So hopefully many of you were able to get those. Was there anybody who would like to share? And if you're a little shy and don't want to put on your camera, you don't have to. You can also put it in the chat.
You know what, I can share. So a book that inspires me actually it's called You Are a Badass. And I just love reading self-help books. It's my little thing. But that one, I think 2-3 years ago, really got me through it, and it kind of boosted my confidence and kind of got me to thinking about myself and what I wanted to do again. So that was a good book. So it's called You Are a Badass.
I have that book. That's a badass book.
Yeah, I did want to share one thing. So many years ago, my wife and I, when we were moving in together, she was, cleaning up her stuff, all her belongings, and going through her stuff from her mom's place. And she shows me a picture, not a picture, excuse me, a piece of paper. And she goes, I can't believe this. She's like, I wrote all these things that I wanted in a person. And it was just a list of personality or things that, she was hoping to find in her next partner. And well, she wished for me and got me. So I wish I could find that paper. I know she still has it. It was hilarious. I thought it was funny. She said she did it because I think Oprah did one of these shows where they talked about affirmations and basically, creating what you wanted, putting it down so that they manifested. And I told her, I was like, oh, well, look at that. Just so blessed. But I think it was so cute, so funny, and she kept it. And yeah, it had a lot of my personality traits, and it was really funny. And I can say that when I was much younger, I used to do the same thing. I used to create vision boards, because back in the day, you know, you had magazines at, they were everywhere. So it was like, they constantly got sent to your house regardless. So I remember making those, and I remember a few things happening. I've read The Secret. I remember doing a lot of that. So it was really good to hear a lot of this stuff, to kind of have a refresher of remembering, like, you know what, like I do this. And sometimes I think we have a tendency to forget to do it. We just get caught up in the everyday hustle and bustle, that constant, just, you just kind of glaze over what's important for ourselves. So kind of hearing it all is like, you know what, it's important to be reminded of these things. So thank you for sharing it with us. I really appreciate it. Um, let's see the chat.
Yeah, let's give it a few minutes. But thank you, Lisa, for giving us some of the prompts to think about and like the visual representation, all the examples you gave. It's funny that you mentioned, you know, speaking affirmations to yourself and like positive things, because, you know, we're going to be going over one of the events, which is like the sound baths. And we did that in person. And, you know, she talked about the same thing, right? You need to speak great things to yourself, because there's even studies on water, right? And plants as well, that when you speak positive into them, they grow. And then, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that.
I
So we'll be
did
going
that
over that as well.
I did that before we started. Something, again, I always pull on my intuition, and something told me to write on the bottle of water. If you've never heard about that example, it's a Japanese doctor. I can't really remember the name of it, but if you type in, you know, water, Japanese example, or it'll pop up. But basically the premise behind that is that when you write on your water or down anything, but for water example, so I put the word love. And so in the whole process, it changes the chemicals within the water molecules. So the test that the doctor did was, he wrote water, and then he wrote like other words like ugly, like just really not nice words. And then the the crystals in the water changed, and he took pictures of the water, and you could see if he wrote angel, the crystal just turned into this beautiful formation. So it's, words are very powerful. That's why, you know, when you see people pray over their food, you are really setting that intention over your food. So imagine what you're thinking, and your whole body is hearing what you are saying. You know what I mean? So when you're saying negative stuff or cussing or whatever, your body doesn't really know. You know what I mean? But it changes everything. So be very kind to yourself. All of that really helps. But words, they're super powerful.
I did want to, there's a, in the chat by Nelly says, I can also attest to the vision board. I made one in high school. I sadly didn't save it, but I remember putting UCLA in it. And lo and behold, years later, I got it. Good job. You see, you put it out there, put it out there, put it out there. You know, I love that. Anybody else? Does anybody else want to share before we move on? This is a great opportunity to either talk about things that have worked out for you, maybe things that you might have questions on. I did see someone earlier asking about the magazines, like where can you get them?
I can share.
Please, Daniel, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm a fellow Capricorn. I am grateful for my opportunity at UC Berkeley and the education I have. I never thought I would be so far away from home, like traveling. Like yesterday, I don't really like the airport, so I took the train here. I mean, it was over 9 hours. And as I was listening, like with my headphones to music, I'm like, wow, I'm really traveling on my own back home. Never thought I would be on a train. It was beautiful. The view was amazing. I'm happy where I am in life. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Daniel. Does anybody else want to talk about maybe things that they're happy with, that they're proud of? Maybe things that they didn't think would exist in their lives, but super grateful for, or just
Yeah, I can
grateful
share. I'll go for it. So I was just gonna actually brought up a book real quick. That this book actually really inspired me and it really spoke a lot to me because I was taking a wellness class through my second semester of college, and like I really needed this. And this book is called Emotional Blackmail. Pretty much the premise of the book is talking about like blackmail that you can identify in your life, whether that be from your family, you know, trying to make you feel guilty for not being able to do something or like using fear. It talks a little bit about all the ways that people try to blackmail you, even if it's not like, you know, someone's holding a person hostage and you have to pay, but more so, how do people make you feel like a hostage of like, you know, you have to give in to what they're saying and they try to make you feel guilty about it when you don't set those boundaries. It talks about like, you know, negative comparisons. You know, I've had my journey with people comparing me to other people that don't make me feel good. And also understanding guilt. A lot of the times people always try to make me feel guilty when I try to set boundaries. And so that's always never been healthy for me, for my mental health. And it also talks about how to approach emotional blackmail. It's always important to always set those boundaries, even if people try to block you from doing them. And it gives you that kind of stuff of like how to make it, because it's never easy to, you know, kind of establish those boundaries with people that you care about. But it's always, but I think you always have to come back to, you know, making that this is for you, this is for your own health, and that you're trying to protect yourself as much as possible. So despite what others say, it's always great to set those boundaries to really, you know what you need and what you want. And that's what this book emphasizes a lot. So I recommend, as you can see, I was so invested that I made post-its and everything. Like I know where every chapter is, and I even annotated. So yeah, definitely it's a book that really inspired me and I carry it with me.
I was going to comment on that. I was going to say, I love that you have Post-it notes to things that you found important. I know that I people hate that I do it, but sometimes I'll write in a book or I'll highlight. But I think that's great because obviously you're recognizing something that's important to you, and then you can go back and reflect on it again. So I love that. So thank you for sharing. So I'd like to give one more person an opportunity to share if they'd like. Does anybody else want to talk about something that they're grateful for, possibly a journal prompt, anything we just spoke about?
Can I go? I'll
Yeah.
turn on my camera, but I don't look that well put together, but yeah. So something I'm grateful for is that I feel like I knew I wanted to be an organizer even when I was a little kid. I always asked questions that like my parents would like my family would be like, you know, you're a girl, you don't ask those questions. Or I come from a Muslim background on my mom's side, so and so you're kind of taught to like be a little bit more quiet, a little bit more submissive, and I'm not trying to like reinforce Muslim stereotypes, because my mom also taught me to be really strong and like to do the things that I want to do and stuff like that. But there is like a, you know, a thing around gender or whatever. And I remember being 5 years old and asking my mom, because I was always told that I have a beautiful singing voice. And when you pray in Arabic, it's kind of like a song. And I was like, why can't I lead prayer? And my mom's like, girls don't lead prayer. And so sometimes I think after having that experience, it led me, I started organizing at 13. And I've been organizing all the way until now. So in August will be 14 years that I've been an organizer. And I feel like I always ask that question, like, why can't I lead something? Why can't I do something? If I see a problem, why can't I be a part of the change? So I literally like think about when I was 5 years old, asking my mom, you know, why can't I lead something? And I'm grateful that I'm grateful that I allowed myself to do the things that I wanted to do in life. And now like it has always been organizing, and I'm still an organizer. And I never denied myself like things that felt right to me, even if people didn't agree with them. And I'm still here.
I love that you were unsubconsciously like already thinking of like, what is my power? And like you found that for yourself. Because I think what Lisa was talking about earlier too. So.
I want to say really quickly, I've had a similar experience, scripture based though, where I I love, the power of word, right? And I was at a religious event, and some of the main people there were saying, I was like, oh, once you find out this truth, how do you share it? And they were like, sister, sisters don't preach. And immediately I was like, oh, okay. And later the breakdown was out of protection, because women, we are responsible for the family, right, and protecting our home, so it was in a protection sense. But I really feel that at the end of the day, the Most High Creator has given you gifts, and those also are meant to be shared into the world. So I do commend you for even continuing on, knowing that there was a structure you were brought up with, but you still proceeded on, knowing that you had something to contribute and found a way.
Yeah.
So I commend you. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you again, Lisa. I'm going to leave you with one last question. So if someone wants to get in touch with you or learn a little bit more about what you do, or get involved, what's the best way to reach you?
I'll put in here, I put it on the beginning of the slides. You can, share the slide with everybody here. Email me. You can I'm going to put it here. You can follow me on my Instagram page. You can message me here. You can also email me. And then what else? And then feel free, if you want to text me and get more, personal, you can do that here too as well. Just, text and say you are a part of this group, and so I know where it's coming from and I don't block you. But that has never really been the case. Luckily I know a lot of people, and I'm always willing to share my resources. So if I can't help you, I know I can, pass it on to somebody who else can. And if anybody's interested in any type of spiritual mentorship, you can always, we can always set up a time to talk to, if you need help with, a little bit further. Sometimes we need that extra to understand who we are, and that takes a little bit more time. But that's how you can reach me. Follow me on Instagram, Islaments. It's my middle name, which is Isla. It is Hopi. It means one who takes on challenges, and that's why the company's name is Islaments. And
thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you for joining us again. All right, awesome. So I'm guessing everyone might be back. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I want to give the floor to Victor Cardoza, just really quickly, who is here with the Wall Las Memorias as part of the vulnerable populations team. He is here to share just some important resources provided by his amazing team. So Victor, take it away when you're ready.
Hi, everyone, and good morning. I hope everyone is having a great day. So my name is Victor, pronounced him, his. I am a supervisor with the Wall Las Memorias, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about one of our resources that we have here through Men's Connection. So give me a minute. So we offer workshops. That's one aspect of it. So, these workshops talk about empowering our communities, leading with a lens of sex positivity, community organizing, building cover letters, resumes, and going through, that interviewing process as well. So we offer workshops that help with that. We also provide Men's Talk, which is a support group that meets every week on Tuesday at 6. And we talk about different issues that impact queer men. And yeah, it's a really great group. We get together, we hold conversation, we hold space, and it's really important to hold sober spaces as well. Pretty soon we're gonna have in-person meetings. At the moment, they're all being done virtually, but yeah, that's some of the stuff that we do. Aside from that, we do have an upcoming event that we're gonna have a bit of a workshop coming up on cover letters, resumes, and interviewing at the Dress for Success event that's happening April 9th at the LGBT Center South. So we'll be collaborating with them as well. It'll be another great event. So if you want to learn about us, also feel free to message us on Instagram at mensconnection.twlmp. We're pretty quick with responding. So if you need any services or you want to get connected, I think the link is going to be dropped in the chat box. So if you want to register for any of our workshops, one of them is the Speak Out, one of them is the Yaz. It's going to be the first link on there. We also do testing. So we do at-home testing, and we also do testing at our locations in Boyle Height and in downtown. But if you can't make it to either of them, you can always sign up for an at-home HIV test kit, because knowledge is power. So thank you so much. This is a moment of your time, but I appreciate it. Yeah.
Victor, I do have a question. What were the hours for testing?
So the hours for testing, so Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, except for some Thursdays, which we have extended hours, after hours, that go up until 8. So that's our Boyle Heights location.
Okay,
But
that's awesome.
regularly it's 9 to 6. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to remind everyone too that if you're doing the at-home test kits, there is a gift card available to you as well. So that's really good. But thank you again, Victor. If anyone's interested in getting in touch, I'll send his info after. So
Okay.
just moving on with the program. So early March, we got together with our Rise Up and Act youth. And it was for an in-person workshop, which was a sound bath workshop we did with Wendy. And so we wanted to show all of you, for those of you who couldn't make it, just a little recap of what went on that day. And so we have this short little video just to show you all.
The benefits of a sound bath include deepening relaxation, lowering stress and anxiety, improving mood and well-being, improving sleep, heightening focus and energy, and feeling rejuvenated. A sound bath is a form of meditation that guides listeners into a deep state of relaxation using the sounds and vibrations of instruments. One of the many topics that has been brought up is accessibility. When we look at what's available in our communities, the difference in resources is exponential. There is a lack of access in our communities to alternative methods of healing. When we lack resources, it creates a barrier of access to mental health in youth. It limits options of what can be accessed and learned. Substance use prevention aims to develop the knowledge, attitudes, and the skills people need to make good choices or change harmful behaviors. Part of the process is to also introduce alternative methods like sound baths and meditations, which may not be available in underserved communities. We wanted to give the youth an opportunity to make more time for themselves and try something new. Today's youth can be overwhelmed with the stressors of school, work, and the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. This space would allow them 90 minutes to break free of those stressors and to recenter their mental well-being. So now we'd like to introduce you to the youth. Joining us next are some of our very special individuals that have made this programming possible. Please welcome Angel and Jasmine, who are here to share some of their experiences and their thoughts on the sound bath workshop that you all just got to see in the video.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Angel. My pronouns are he, him, his. I've been with the Rise Up and Act Youth program for about 2 years now. Pretty much, this was my first time ever experiencing a sound bath, and I really came in with the intention to really just decompress. It was another hard week of college, midterms are happening right now, homework. I have a part-time job as a tutor. So there's really a lot going on that I just needed time for myself. And so I really came in to just not think about that, think about my life as a student, as a worker, as a tutor, just let that behind and really try to engage with the sound bath. And I can honestly say that throughout this whole entire experience, I felt calm, I felt relaxed, and it really suited my body into like a relaxing state. And there's like in the video, it mentions a lot of like the instruments that were used. There was this instrument in particular, it's called an ocean drum, and pretty much the ocean drum mimics the sounds of the waves that you typically hear in an ocean. That instantly put me to sleep, truly. I mean, I am a big fan of like ambient sounds, particularly of nature sounds. And so when I heard those ocean waves kind of come in contact with me, I really put myself in that state of like, I'm at a beach, the wind is tapping my face. I just feel like the waves just really, hitting all of my body. And so that was really an amazing experience that I had. And overall, I do hope to engage something similar to this. And I'll pass it on to Jasmine. Jasmine?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here and joining us today. My name is Jasmine, pronouns she, her, they, them. Like Angel, this was my first experience with the sound bath as elaborate as the one that Wendy set up. I mean, you can see all the instruments that she had. And like Angel, college, super stressful. So before the sound bath, I was going through a lot of like big changes in my life, from finishing up midterms to I ended up changing majors like the day before the sound bath. So this experience really helped ground me and remind me to be gentle with myself, and to treat myself. So I'm like extremely grateful to have had the opportunity to attend a workshop, because it really gave me the time to relax and reflect on my body's needs. It was very soothing and healing to focus my attention on all the different sounds. Like Angel said, the drum, it sounded like you were at the beach, hearing the like waves crash, and you can hear it in the video. It also sounded a little bit like it was raining. And I'm a Scorpio moon and Scorpio rising, so I love the sound of water. And so that just felt really nice. And then the other one, as you can see in the video, she was holding like two like wind chimes. They looked like wind chimes. That tool was called a shanti, and sounded super mystical and like just magical and like heavenly. And with those two instruments, it felt like my body was just being like detoxified from all this negative energy, all this stress I've been carrying around. So I started tearing up a little bit. And like after the workshop, I felt so much lighter. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend everyone to give sound baths at least a try. This gave me the chance to really reflect on my spiritual health, which I feel like I tend to neglect because of how fast-paced society is at times. And this is just like a reminder that there are so many resources out there for mental health that people sometimes don't know about. Because I feel like a lot of the times people are told to like, oh, change up your diet or exercise more, or that those are like the only ways to like change your mental health. But there's like so much more than that. And everyone's different. There's no like one size fits all when it comes to like mental health. So you really just have to go out there and experience different things for yourself to get to know yourself better and to discover what works best for you. So yeah.
I want to thank both Angel and Jasmine for sharing with us their experiences. I'm hoping we can do another one of these in-person sound baths again, so that more people can try it and it can help alleviate some of that college stress you both deal with so often. But thank you so much for sharing on your experiences. We appreciate it. I'd now like to introduce the next youth, and that's going to be Jennifer. Jennifer is going to be sharing with us mental health resources available in Los Angeles. Jennifer, go ahead. You see.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer, and like Stevie said, I'm going to go over the different kinds of mental health resources that are available for youth in Los Angeles. So piggybacking off what Angel and Jasmine were talking about the sound bath, it was a really good experience for both of them, as an experience of like self-care and maintaining their mental health. And like they mentioned in the video, a lot of youth probably don't know about the different resources that are available in the Los Angeles area that can actually help improve their self-care and mental health. So I want to talk about first, what exactly is mental health? Mental health in general is defined as the state of our emotional, psychological, and our social well-being and how they influence our behaviors. And we need to take great care of our mental health because it really affects all of the behaviors that we have, like how we cope with stress or anxiety, or how we make choices in our everyday lives. So why exactly are youth an important group? About 1 in 7 teenagers actually experience some form of mental health condition. And today, a lot of our youth are emotionally vulnerable to the different social topics that exist in our society, such as discrimination, social exclusion, stigma, media influence, and so many more that really influence our state of mind negatively. So it's very important to improve the mental health of the youth, as it's important in forming good relationships with others. It helps improve our confidence, and it also helps us cope better with our stress, anxiety, or any other kinds of mental illnesses better. And poor mental health is actually really damaging for teenagers, and it actually results in a lot of developments in mental health disorders, especially including emotional and behavioral disorders. So we have to act in identifying the different factors that prevent our youth from coping properly, from anything that increases their stress, and anything that blocks our potential. So I want to talk about the different mental health resources that exist in Los Angeles. First, we have to discuss what are the types of mental health resources that exist or are available. Most people, when they think about mental health resources, they have this idea of therapy, educational programs and workshops, and counselors, but it's not just limited to these 3 resources. For example, there's a lot of emerging online and telephone support that are available from different organizations that can be more hands-on from home. There's also a lot of developments in local clubs and communities or in school areas where a lot of people probably don't even think about looking for. For example, I know there are some exercise groups in which people focus not only on your physical health, but also your mental health. And finally, there's a lot of developing apps for self-management. So some examples would be online agendas that help you maintain your schedules and have you establish your own stability in what you're doing in life. So I want to talk about the 4 resources that I found in the general Los Angeles area. So the first includes the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Westside LA. This organization offers a variety of different hotlines, classes, and treatment services for families and individuals. And if you want to access their 24-hour crisis hotline, the number is right here. The next would be Shields Adult Mental Health Services. This is an organization that offers programs for both young individuals and their families through different outpatient treatments and the CalWorks mental health program. They also offer a lot of psychosocial assessments, therapy, comprehensive case management, life skill classes, drug and alcohol education, and so much more. The next is the Trevor Project. This is an organization that specifically focuses on serving the mental health priorities of the LGBTQIA+ youth through their variety of crisis services, peer support, and public education. And the last is Alma Family Services. And this is an organization that offers prevention and early intervention classes that focus on therapy, education, support, and outreach. So as we know now, there's a lot of different organizations that exist in the LA area that can provide the kinds of resources that a lot of our youth need or they don't know that they need. And of course, the Wall Las Memorias is also a great resource for many of our youth. So how exactly can we promote this availability of mental health resources to the public? The first strategy could be social media outreach. I'm sure many of you probably found out about this organization and the summit from social media. Another strategy is expanding these resources to our schools. So we need to have, we need a higher demand for therapists and psychiatrists that are available in school settings as well. Next would be workshops. And finally, destigmatizing what mental health really is and the ideas that surround mental health resources in society. So that's the end of my presentation. I have some links over here that lead to each of the sites that I referred to earlier. I'm not sure if I can share this in the chat right now, but if anyone wants to reach out to any of these organizations, they are NAMI, Shields, the Trevor Project, and the Alma Family Services. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I want to thank you for putting together this great presentation for resources for the youth within Los Angeles. We will definitely be emailing this information out afterwards, so this will be available. Also, please remember that if you feel like this is a lot of information to receive, maybe you don't have a pen and paper at your disposal at the current moment, you can always contact us or reach out to us on Rise Up and Act on Instagram. You can also get in contact with us at the Wall or directly with Miguel and myself. We'll enter our information towards the end of the summit, and we're more than happy to help you all out with any services that you need to be connected with. So thank you again, Jennifer. Now I'd like to introduce 4 other of our Rise Up youth who are here to share a little bit about their own experiences. Ana Sol, would you like to start us off and share how you navigate through your own self-care, mental health, and how your community can better support you?
Yes, thank you, Stevie. My name is Anna Sol. My pronouns are she, her. And some things that I do for self-care consist of taking some time alone. And I love to take the time to do skincare and clean up my room, because it just makes me feel safer in my space and, cleaner. And one of the most calming experiences for me is always to take like a mindful walk with my dog and just feel present in the moment. And in that way, I feel that my community is aiding me by, maintaining a clean park and making it feel like a safe space to take the time for myself. And something that I feel that my school can do to aid everyone with their mental health is to definitely have people talking about it by maybe having assemblies with the whole school and even some after school activities about how to cope and talk about our feelings, and all while finding peers who may feel the same way, because I know that in my school we did have sexual harassment awareness week, and I feel like we could do the same thing with maybe like mental health awareness week. And I feel like that would be a really good idea for my school. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. So, for my experience, I've been doing sports and writing down my feelings, and it's always been hard for me to write down my feelings because when I was younger, I was told that, and I've always heard that, oh, boys aren't supposed to cry. Oh, you're seen, basically, you're seen as a weaker person if you cry. And I've always felt that way, and I didn't want to show that emotion in front of everybody since I was always so like sentimental. And it was honestly really hard, and it still is hard to this day, but I'm glad that I've improved and I've gone through therapy, and it's honestly really helped. And basketball has also helped me too, by going to the park and making new friends, being socially active. And I'm honestly really happy to where I've gone. And I feel like our school can, like Hannah also said, by having assemblies, I also think that we can also have classes do what's it called, where you write down your emotions for like 5 to 10 minutes in your class, talk to your friends about things that are going on, and we could have our teachers talk to us about some self-care routines that you can do and give us some recommendations. That's what my biology teacher does, and I really love her for doing that because it really shows that she cares about our emotions because she knows how hard it is for people to do online school and how stressful it is. So for her to do that, it's really amazing. And I honestly think it's really good for us. But yeah, that's my experience and that's how I think it could help.
Thank you for sharing, Christopher. My name is Aneli Hernandez, and for self-care, I usually journal out my feelings. And I think this can be transitioned into the school curriculum by like ways like Christopher mentioned, which is like having students write a short prompt at the beginning of class so that they can understand the importance of practicing something like a growth mindset, for example. And promoting yoga at school, especially in PE class, which would help expose students to yoga, since we don't typically see that in low-income or minority communities. And funding for city clubs would also help all individuals build a sense of community with each other, which can also be seen as a form of self-care. And these ideas would work best with student engagement so that there can be promotion of such clubs in local schools, or there can be school fairs at least once a year to talk about the importance of self-care and the resources or groups available in the community. So something like a self-care fair which would have different stations with different self-care activities could help. And then the host of each station could promote anything from their self-care journals to their workshops or other self-care related products like face masks. Such events would be similar to those that are already being held by programs like Rise Up and Act, but they would be more readily available to youth in their high schools.
Thank you, Nelly, for sharing. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel. He, him pronouns. And self-care is something I realized I needed to focus on more coming into college. I realized the things that stressed me out, like schoolwork, made it hard to even be in a room. And to practice self-care, I would go out for walks with friends and just hang out. And luckily, my campus has like certain spaces where you can just throw your blanket out and relax. So that was very good for my mental health. And with viewing self-care more important, with viewing self-care to be more important in college, I really wish I would have realized it, the importance of it in high school or even at home at a younger age. Having the effort to engage with mental health would have promoted better ways of self-care from an earlier standpoint. It would have been beneficial to recognize my negative coping mechanisms, such as biting my nails or drinking excessive caffeine. If we have better communication with family about mental health, it can open up the space where people aren't afraid to use resources and ask for help. School activities, programs, and organizations like the Wall Las Memorias are always going to be here to support us. But it's whether we are open our minds to the fact that mental health and self-care is important and should be talked about. Thank you.
Please, everyone, give a round of applause. Please put in the chat some emojis. I really want to thank all of the youth today for sharing their thoughts and their experiences, for opening up and being vulnerable. I want to remind everybody that this is a safe space. We're all here to share our experiences and to have understanding of each person's the things that are going on and how we can make better resources and how to put things out in place for you to feel like you have a structure for your own self-care, for your mental health and well-being. So thank you. I also want to open this up for any questions that may have come up. So if anyone wants to ask a question, you can raise your hand. You could put it in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna give it another second or two just to see. I did see that Jasmine put, well, let's see, let's go back a little bit. We see proud that you shared, Christopher, you're motivating others. Yes, thank you, Anasol and Anali, for sharing. We also see, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. Also see another comment, love all of that. Thank you for sharing. And then thank you for sharing. It's a true display of courage and inspiration too. So I just like to go on and say that I love how many of you mentioned how school can implement some curriculums on how the communities can provide more communal resources and activities for youth. It's important that within our cities, we have these options, and a good place to start with that is within the schools. So thank you for sharing that. I also want to give a special shout out to Christopher, who has a very special day today. He had his driver's test, and let's just send him some good vibes and good luck on that one. And then we want to know the results. So at the next meeting, I'm hoping we get good news, because you're taking us to the beach, okay? Can everyone please join me in giving a round of applause again for these amazing leaders? And now we're about to have another giveaway. So again, thank you. Thank you to all the Rise Up youth. You're doing so great. You know how me, mom over here, just want to give you all big hugs. So proud of you. You're on mute, Miguel.
Oh, sorry. Awesome. So coming up next, we have our next workshop. So I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Brandy Rametta, who is the owner of Heart and Soul Yoga. So Brandy uses yoga not just as a physical practice, but also as a source of light to strengthen mental health and raise emotional intelligence. So with a personal interest in helping others, she uses yoga as a form of therapy. And focused on guiding personal wholeness for children, adults alike, she opens herself up to candid conversations, encourages vulnerability and self-acceptance in each session. So please help me give a warm welcome to Brandy Rametta. Hi, Brandy.
Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, awesome. Yep. Wow. Speaking of vulnerability, all of you guys were going to make me cry, just being so vulnerable, talking so candidly and honestly. I think when I was your age, that was really, really hard for me to do. And all the work that I've started to do through yoga and meditation and just like living a more positive lifeline. And you guys, I know that may not make sense to you right at this moment, but it will through my presentation. I mean, you guys are on the right track. You guys are definitely leaders in the making, and leadership, I think, comes from, yes, academics and all of that stuff. All of that's so great. But what good is all of that success of academics and making money and being successful at your job if this and this is not okay, right? And that's really what I try to remind people of, because I work with kids and adults. And I know I just kind of jumped in there and started talking because I just wanted to give you a round of applause for just being so open, because when you're so open like that, it gives your neighbor, your friend, maybe even a parent, a sibling in somebody in your household, it gives them the green light and the okay to also be vulnerable and to also be real with their feelings and to also communicate a little bit better. So it all starts with us. So just you guys being here and being present on this presentation is such a big deal. And I wish I would have started my journey a little bit younger, but you know, everyone's path looks different, right? And here I am today, owner of Heart and Soul Yoga. I'm located in Whittier, if you guys know where Whittier is. And when I started Heart and Soul Yoga, I started working with kids, and it was right in the height of COVID. So you guys remember, it wasn't that long ago, right? I just feel like it kind of just ended, right? Just like yesterday or something. So right in the midst of COVID, I decided to start all of this. I don't know what was going through my mind because it was a little bit of a challenge, but I didn't realize that so many kids were being challenged out there. When I say kids, I was working with kids that were like 7 to 12 years old. And it was just a variety of different issues going on: anxiety, depression, social anxiety, a lot of fear turning into being antisocial, even through the like Zoom classrooms and Zoom schooling and education. That was also new and different. Everyone was kind of just scared. And then kids are looking at their parents in fear and in stress, in panic mode. news is on 24 hours a day. Our leaders of our country were stressed and sending messages of fear, right? So these kids don't have a choice but to react to the energy around them. And that's also a really good lesson to kind of start off with right now, is the energy that we project is the energy that somebody else is going to emulate, right? So that's what has been going on through COVID, through these last couple of years. It's been hard, a lot of back and forth, a lot of unknowns. And I applaud all of you guys for getting through it. And obviously we're in a little bit of a safer place, but that's how I started my journey, or that's when I started my journey with trying to help people, getting my yoga certification. I've been doing yoga for over 15 years, but that's when I decided to get really serious about it and really give back to my community and try to help kids as much as I can. And it couldn't have been a more perfect time, really. So with all that being said, I want to just remind all of you guys that, yoga isn't just about a workout. It is a work in. And what I mean by that is it's a workout, right? Because it's a physical practice and it's exercise. And that's how people probably think about it, like almost immediately. Yoga is an exercise. But for me, the way that I teach at Heart and Soul Yoga is, yes, it's a workout, but it's a work in. It is a reminder to stay in touch with yourself, getting to know all the different layers of yourself and your emotional opening, your heart space, opening your heart, working on your mental health, learning how to de-stress, and learning these coping mechanisms. For me, yoga has been like medicine, like a vitamin. It has been like therapy. And in addition to my real therapy, of course. And so it has had many, many benefits, not just to me, but to all of the people that I've worked with. With that being said, I'm going to run through just the things that I'm going to talk about with in this workshop. So yoga, not just a workout, it's a work in. Yamas and niyamas. Yoga has its own special language, believe it or not. It's called Sanskrit. And in the yamas and niyamas, it teaches you the ethical conduct of which to live by. And we're going to run through that. Number 3 is stop, drop, and roll, breathing and awareness. Words having power. I love this one. Positive self-talk and practicing that. And then moving right into my favorite one, which is affirmations. And then all of that leads to manifesting. So whether you are intentionally manifesting or not, all of these things through yoga and your breathing and the positive self-talk and turning negatives into positives and being an inspiration to others by just implementing all these things into your life, you're actually creating and manifesting a very positive lifeline. And then we'll go through the takeaways and the end, which is the message in a very short meditation of connecting to our chakras. So before we focus on that, I want us to kind of go into, if you have a desk seat, I don't know where you guys are sitting. If you're sitting on a couch, it might be kind of hard, but we'll try it. So you're going to have to watch me really closely, guys, because of, the camera. We're going to try. So everybody, if there's one thing that we can take from, working with each other today, it is the syncing breath to movement. And that's a part of the breathing exercises that are going to help you guys to de-stress. So what I mean by syncing your breath to movement is we're going to move our hands up in a second. And while we're slowly and with a lot of control, moving our arms and our hands up, I want you to also inhale in, taking up all that same time that it takes you to lift those arms up, okay? So you can watch me on the first one and even on the second one, but I'm gonna go through it 4, maybe even 5 times, and I want you guys to join me when you feel comfortable enough, okay? And if you guys have any questions while we're doing it, or you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I feel silly or whatever, don't feel silly. Yoga is for everybody. And if you don't get it the first time, it's okay. Look, we're just going to release the ego. We don't care what we look like. We don't care what we sound like. We're just going to go with the flow. Okay. So let's just go ahead and just for one quick moment, let's just all close our eyes just for a minute. We're going to take a big deep breath in through our nose. Hold it at the top just for a moment. Open your mouth and release, let go. Just when you don't think you don't have any more breath in that exhale, exhale even more. even deeper and one more time. So blink your eyes open gently, and then we're gonna lift our arms up, breathing in at the same time. Let me scoot back a little bit. And then exhaling out, releasing those arms. That looks so weird. I look like I'm in heaven or on a cloud, doesn't it? So inhaling in, take up all that space. There we go. And exhaling out. And now it might make more sense when I say take up all that space, all that time, right? So inhaling in slow. Still breathing in, hold it, exhaling out. One last time, inhaling in. Hold it, exhaling out. Just in that alone can take you from feeling a little bit frazzled or a lot of bit frazzled to feeling like you have things under control a little bit more. Like maybe being able to connect to what is going on up here or in here just for a moment, okay? If you're sitting in your chair, what I want you to do is take another big deep breath in all the way up. And on your exhale, I want you to twist to the right. So right arm comes behind your chair, and then left arm, my left hand is going to hook onto the outer part of my right knee. So I'm holding onto my right knee, and my right arm is just kind of hanging out behind me. And I'm going to look to the right. And if you have the physical space to do this next part, do it. But if you're just like, I feel really tight and I feel like this is not comfortable or it hurts, stay where you are. Just stay where you are. Just breathe through it. But if you feel like you have it in you, just go ahead and take another deep breath as we're looking to the right, inhaling in through your nose. And as you exhale, I want you to slowly look back past your right shoulder, all the way to the back. You're going to pull that right knee in with that left hand and make sure not to crunch your shoulders in like this, but we want to open up our chest. Okay, so open up and then look all the way to the back. Relax your sit bones. Your sit bones are, yes, it's your butt. So relax them. Sometimes when we move into these weird or awkward positions, our body wants to do all these weird things. So sometimes I feel my sit bones trying to actually sit up because your body's still working for you. It's like, I don't want to do that. Your body's like, what's this? This is so weird. I feel awkward and uncomfortable. So your brain is actually probably needs to send a message to your body like, this is okay. We're going to breathe through it. So take a big deep breath in. On your exhale, I want you to untwist really gently all the way back, center and front, okay? Inhaling in, lift up. Exhaling out, other side. So right arm comes in front of us, hooking onto the outer part of our left knee. And then our left arm is just hanging out behind the back of the chair. And we're looking to the left. And while you're sitting here, again, let's relax your sit bones. So your sit bones are like heavy into your seat, into your chair. And then your shoulders are relaxed. And I want you to pull your navel in, okay? A lot of intention in your navel. So you're really utilizing all of the muscles in your center, okay? As you do that, can you lift your chin up and open your heart space, your chest? So take another big deep breath in. If it's available to you, let's exhale and twist even more back. Look past your left shoulder, all the way to the back. Still engaging with your center and your core, okay? Lifting up through your chin, opening your chest, allowing your sit bones to sink into the seat, okay? I know when you're doing all of that, just being in your chair, you might catch some fire, some resistance in your body. It's not as easy as it looks when you're doing all of those like minor adjustments inside your body. So let's take another big deep breath in. On an exhale, slow and controlled, let's roll back to the center. Letting go of that breath. So now you can kind of sense a little bit or get a little bit more familiar with syncing breath to movement, right? So the last bit of the yoga that we're going to do in these seated exercises is we're gonna kind of come up a little bit to the edge of your seat because I want you to open up your legs a little bit. I know you guys can't see my feet and legs, but my knees are really, really wide, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a big deep breath in. And on an exhale, I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to place it on the floor in front of me. And I'm just going to grab onto the back of my chair. So if you guys have rollers, like a desk chair or something, you got to be careful. And if you guys fall, it's not my fault. Okay. So let's grab onto the floor. And if you're grabbing onto the back of your chair and you feel safe, you can lift your arm up into the sky or up into the ceiling, I should say. And we're looking over, I'm looking over to the left. If you guys did the other side, that's fine. But when you do this, I want you to relax your sit bones and, you know, dig your fingertips into the carpet, into the wood floor, wherever you are, into your carpet. Taking a big deep breath in, let's look up into that hand that's in the air, okay? And again, only if it's available to you. And take another big deep breath in. Exhaling out, let's drop your left hand down, 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 touching the floor where your right hand is. So both hands are touching the floor. Deep breath in. Keep your left fingers in on the floor into the ground. And then we're going to lift our right arm up and twist to the other side. So lifting that right hand into the ceiling, twisting to the right. Again, if you did the other side instead, that's totally fine. But what I want you to do is engage that belly while you're there. Look up into your hand. Let's not crunch your chest, but while you're twisting, I want you to open your chest. Even if it feels like you didn't even move or didn't do it, it's the intention that you're giving your inner body to move outward, not inward, okay? You're opening yourself up, and believe it or not, when you're doing these poses, you are moving energy around in your body. You're shifting it. Take a big deep breath in. I want you to reach up into the ceiling and exhale out. Bring that right hand as slow and controlled down, down, down until you touch the ground. Let's go ahead and keep both fingers, both hands on the ground. I'm just really light on my fingertips. I'm not like digging my palms into the ground or putting all my weight forward. So look, don't do that. Pull your navel in and really try to be light on your fingertips. And while you're down there, and again, I know you guys can't see me. Okay, I'm going to try to do it like this. I want you to take a big deep breath in, and on your exhale, hang your neck and head really low. Relax it. Let your shoulders hang, let your neck hang. Relax your jaw, relax the muscles in your face and your forehead. Let it go. Big deep breath in. On an exhale, slow as you can, I want you to start to roll up. So your hands are going to lift off the floor and you're going to come back to your seated space. So there's a seated version of that. And then there's a version. That's actually how I start all of my classes, all of my yoga classes. And when you do that, you should feel like a flush. It's your blood and your circulation, like just being activated. When we're sitting down all day long, or even if you're just chilling at home, relaxing, watching TV, you could do this. You can get your blood circulation going. You guys, when have you felt upset? So upset, you just didn't even want to deal with it. You just threw it away. I'm like, I don't even want to deal with this. I don't even want to talk to that person. They got me so mad. I'm so pissed at myself. Oh, I don't even, you go and you're like this and you don't want to talk to anybody and you don't deal with it. But then that stays with us, right? It just stays. There's this little muscle inside of us and it's somewhere like in your hip area. It's called a psoas muscle. And I call it the trash can, the internal trash can. And that is where all the negative energy goes, right in that trash can. So even if you didn't deal with something like totally bad, a fight, something that really got you upset or sad or depressed, don't our days stress us out because we need to use our energy, right? So we need to decompress, even if it's a happy day. Did you go to Disneyland all day? Well, guess what? Use your energy all day long at Disneyland. We need to decompress. Even if it's a party, we're using energy constantly. We need to decompress from negative things and positive things, believe it or not. So if you're like, hey, or if you hear one of your friends or family, like, I'm super happy. I know what I'm doing in my life. I don't stress out. I don't have anxiety. I don't need to go to therapy. I don't do yoga. It's not for me. Well, you know what? We all need this because we need an outlet for living life. Living life needs energy. We're constantly spending our energy. Think about our energy like a bank, right? Spending our money constantly. We have to buy things. Well, when we're out there connecting, working, going to school, studying, watching TV, reading, having a conversation with our friend, having a laugh attack, watching something on TikTok or whatever, going to a party, dancing, whatever it is, we are constantly spending our energy and we need an outlet to decompress, a physical outlet. So the way that I teach yoga is really putting these beautiful yoga like metaphors and lessons into my yoga practice. So not only are you getting a physical movement, syncing breath to movement, but you're also able to recognize what it's doing. A lot of the practices are about letting go and really releasing your lower back. And that what we just did right now, we released a lot in our hips and lower back. When we open up our legs like that, we store a lot of our emotional energy and stress in our lower back and our hips for men and for women. So if there's anything that you can do, it's, and hopefully one day I will be able to meet you guys in person. We can do a real, live yoga class, but is to get into what's called a child's pose. You can kind of Google what that is and open up your hips and really decompress and let go of the stress. But we're going to move into another one. So we are going to, this is super easy. We're going to take our arms and push them out. So arms are along, and I'm going to go this way so you can see. My hands are flexed, almost like I'm pushing a wall over here and a wall over here. But I'm going to open my chest, lower my shoulders. So I'm not like this, okay? Sometimes we move and our shoulders come up. I notice that a lot, and I notice that in me too. So relax those shoulders, push and flex those palms out, okay? Open your chest, lift your chin just slightly. And like someone's pulling you up, like with the string from the top of your head, always just have a lot of intention in your head. So when you pull your head up, it's like you're elongating the back of your neck. Do you feel that difference? Okay. So what we're going to do is press our hands out, really press out as hard as you can. A lot of intention. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out through your mouth and push away those walls that you're envisioning, that resistance on your hands. You guys, this very simple move, it actually activates an acupressure point and it leads to your heart center. This opens up your heart and cultivates joy. So while you're here, are you guys shy? Can you just smile? Take a smile. I love it. This actually cultivates joy. And if you feel silly doing that, I was introduced to this a couple of years ago. And while I was doing it, I'm smiling like that. And then the girl said, this cultivates joy. I'm like, no wonder I'm smiling. It was like a button and I just smiled. So remember that these little things just in the palm of your hand and pressing away, there's actually a line of energy through here, right into the center of your heart, believe it or not. So amazing, right? So that's one thing you can do. The other thing is, oh, this is one of my favorites. So I'm going to take my hand and I'm using my right hand right now, and I'm going to point with my one index finger. Okay. So just point with your index finger. And then I'm going to look over the opposite way past that left shoulder. And then I'm going to draw my chin down towards my left shoulder. And all at the same time, that finger that's pointed, that right finger that's pointed outward towards the right, I'm just going to bring that hand back, like towards the back of the room. So as I'm pulling that back a little bit, I'm going to draw my chin even deeper towards my shoulder. So while you're doing this, you might feel like a line of energy through the top of your shoulder. Well, that actually moves right into our gallbladder and our heart. And again, these are really like amazing ways that we can really start to understand the part of yoga that is so beautiful, which is everything is so connected, more connected than we could imagine. Take a big deep breath in. On an exhale, we're going to go ahead and drop your right arm down and then look right to the center. We're going to do the other side. Big breath in. We're going to point to the left. Remember to point that pointer finger, okay? And then we're going to look over past that right shoulder and then draw your chin down towards your right shoulder. And again, we're going to try to pull that left hand back a little bit and at the same time, draw that chin even deeper down. Lower, lower, lower. Take a big breath. Exhale through your mouth. And just remember what's going on in your body, all the amazing, productive things that you are doing for your body to honor your body in this one little pose. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, let's release our hand and then bring our head back to the center. And then the last thing that we're going to do that always feels so good to me is we're going to bring our chin to our chest. And then when you get there, just kind of let it hang. You could feel like the back of your neck. Sometimes I do these little things in the morning, you know, trying to stretch things out. I'm like, God, when did that, you know, pain get there or that discomfort? So really just close your eyes while your chin is hanging there and just get a sense of what your body is feeling. We go through life and we're moving so fast and social media doesn't help, right? Like social media just takes things to another level where our mind is connecting. It's like robot to robot. We're a robot too, guys. And our mind is thinking about all kinds of crazy stuff, things that it's not even relevant. Like what, you know, do you ever wonder like why you had dreams? I had a dream about Kim Kardashian the other night, guys. I'm like, what in the world is she doing in my dreams? It's because I'm on social media and she's selling underwear and she has a new boyfriend. And I'm like, oh my God, you can't get away from it. You can't get away from it. So really recognize what you're thinking about and what you're feeling. Let's drop that head and let it hang. Take a big breath while you're hanging out there. And exhale out, kind of releasing those thoughts, releasing any stress, releasing anything, negative or positive. We just like want a clean slate, a blank canvas, okay? Big breath in. Let's take that chin over to the right shoulder and downward. And then we're gonna lift our chin up to the right. And then look at the ceiling and then bring your face over to the left, up to the left of the ceiling, and then bring that chin to the left shoulder and down and then back towards. And then we're going to go through that circular motion one more time. Find your own rhythm. And when you're circling this way, once you get to the bottom, the next time you get to the bottom, I should say, I want you to stop and then take it the other way. Really slow. Our necks are so gentle. We have to treat it with care, with TLC. And when you get to the bottom on your next roll down, stay there for a second and then slowly bring your head up. Big breath in. Exhale out through your mouth. Relax those shoulders. Okay, we're done. Bye. I'm just kidding. We have a lot of stuff to go over, guys. Okay, should I start my screen, my slides, or you? I forgot what we're doing.
Oh, we'll share it right now.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I was really into the yoga, so I forgot I had to do this.
Yeah, you fell asleep. That's good. That's good. So you guys, yoga is for everybody. Not just, I don't know, I get so many people say yoga's not for me. I get some women say, I'm really overweight. I'm scared. I'm intimidated. It doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. I work with somebody who's 75. I work with a 15-year-old. I work with women that are ages, I don't know, 25 all the way to 65. I work with people with disabilities. I work with kids that are 6 years old all the way to like 11. It is for everybody. So while yoga can be intimidating, you're like, I'm not that flexible. I can't do that. doesn't matter. If you are, look at those little, illustrations of those girls doing yoga. Yoga could look like anything. It could be any size. Don't be afraid. And I'm sorry I didn't put a male. Males do yoga too. Okay. I tried to do yoga with my 65-year-old dad. I'm like, let's do yoga because he's really into, health and eating really well. I'm so proud of him. I'm like, let's get some yoga in there. And he's like, yoga's for girls. I'm like, oh man, what is going on in the world? Like, Dad, it's not for girls. So I had him do yoga and he loved it. I have men that come to my classes. I do yoga with my 5-year-old son. He thinks he's super cool because he thinks he's like a Jedi yogi. So yoga's for everybody and you can do it anywhere. Okay. So we just did the seated yoga. And again, hopefully we can meet in person and we can do a full yoga class, but you can start at any level and from anywhere. We synced breath to movement. Yoga is a huge part of yoga. And the big takeaway that I tell everybody in my classes or anyone that I meet that I want to try to help them with yoga and wellness, I just say, if there's one thing that you can take away from my time with you, it's syncing breath to movement and letting go right here and right here. So yoga can be meditation. It can be asana. Again, asana is a part of that beautiful Sanskrit language, which is a yogic language. Asana, it means movement or flow. It can be connecting to your body. So like when we rolled out our neck and I said, try to feel and recognize what it is that you're feeling, or just even emotionally, like if you're somewhere and you feel something and you might be triggered and you're able to connect to that feeling, emotion, or thought and act on it, maybe breathing through it or something like that, that is also an act of yoga. And like I said, connecting to your body emotionally or physically. Yoga benefits. So just in the small seated yoga sequence we did right now, you were working on inner peace and better focus. It helps us to process life better. It creates not just physical flexibility, you guys, it is mental flexibility. I can't say that enough. It opens our hearts. It brings us more patience and helps us grow and honor our changes, because you guys, the only thing that is promised to us in this life is that we are growing, or I should actually take that back. We are not growing. We're growing if we want to grow, but the only thing that's promised to us is that we are changing, and this world is changing every single day. There's not one thing that stays the same every single day. So we want to try to honor those changes because changes can be really hard. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So yoga is not just a physical practice. It teaches us about the meaningful and purposeful ways that we can live our life. And so when I got turned on to yoga about 15 years ago, I went to the yoga class and I'm like, God, this is pretty amazing. I feel great. I thought it was like so cool because I got through the yoga class and physically, I was 15 years younger and I was really getting through it. But then I started really paying attention to what how the yoga teacher was guiding me and the words that she was using. And I slowly started to understand that there was something deeper and more special about yoga and the teachings of yoga. So I'll read through this because this is really why yoga is such an important element of my life and why I want to share it with everybody. Yoga is learning moral and ethical conduct. It is self-discovery. Oh, that's my most favorite one. It is an honest connection to yourself and back to yourself. Sometimes we lose sight of who we are when we go through transformation. I know I've been there a couple times in my life, and yoga's brought me back to myself each time. It is self-discipline. And it reminds us that the energy that you put into the world, you will get right back. So it makes us aware, it makes us responsible for how we're treating ourselves and how we're treating our body and how we're spending our energy. It is a guideline for living a meaningful and purposeful life. So above all else, remember that. So there's a couple things, and there's so much There's so much that are a part of the context of yoga and the yogic life teachings and philosophies. But of course, we had to narrow it down. I want to share it all with you guys, but I'm going to run through what was the most inspiring thing to me while I started to learn about yoga. And that is the yamas and the niyamas, which are branches of this moral conduct. So yamas, the thing that it reminds me of, that I can connect it to with, modern times or Western teachings in America, is do unto others as you would have done, do unto you. Sorry. I know that probably heard that before, right? I hope you have. It means to act non-violently, to use honesty, being truthful, non-stealing, empowering your willpower, and being non-jealous, like really releasing that ego and being non-attached to physical things and to people too. So when I say to people, it just means, like, for instance, if somebody came up to me and they're like, Brandy, you suck at yoga and you're ugly and you're kind of fat, I'd be like, oh, well, that sucks that you think that of me, but that's not my business. It's your business, because I know that I'm amazing. And I know that what I give, to my yoga and what yoga does for me is amazing. And I'm really, secure in myself, in my own light, and it doesn't really matter what you think of me. And I would just keep moving on. I am not attached to what other people think about me. It doesn't affect me. That doesn't affect me. I know, and I'm confident in how I treat others. I know that I'm giving my best at all times. And so what other people say, or their negativity towards the world and how they project negatively, should not affect me. In addition to not having attachments to material things or being jealous of people because of material things. I know I hear a lot about that. And my nieces and nephews through social media, this person is showing off, this person got that, how come I didn't get a car on my 16th birthday, yada, yada, yada. We're constantly comparing ourselves. We got to let that go. And that's at all ages. Jealousy and being attached to things happens at a very young age. It's a part of our identity. So that's really hard to unlearn or just be productive when we're learning to cope and deal with things like that. And the niyamas is all about balancing. It means cleanliness. And by that, it means physical cleanliness, taking care of ourselves, hygiene, things like that. And it also means, going through our stuff and getting rid of things that we no longer need, purging out things that we don't need and only holding on to things that we do need. And I know in a material world that we live in, it's really hard to do that, really, really hard. I know it's hard for me too. I have 2 little ones and they're very attached to their, 120 lightsabers that my son has and all the Barbies my daughter has. So I'm guilty of that. They're very attached to their things. So, it's going to be hard for me to unteach them that one day. Niyamas also is contentment, finding contentment in life, not through buying something, not through looking a certain way, not through the, compliments that other people are giving you or comments that they're leaving you on Instagram. It's about true contentment, being truly happy with yourself. Implementing rituals or spiritual things into your practices. I think that there's, miscommunication on this. Rituals and spiritual acts can be anything. It could be you decompressing by going to the park and maybe taking your yoga mat or a blanket out to the park and just sitting there because that's how you heal. That's your healing process. That's how you decompress. That's how you find inner peace. So all of those things that may not exactly be a typical spiritual practice or ritual, you can create your own rituals. It doesn't have to be what somebody says on the internet or what your spiritual leader or guide says. You can create that. For a long time before I started all of this work, I would go to the beach and I didn't really know what I was doing then because I wasn't super in touch with my spiritual center at that time. But anytime something would, go bad or felt really sad, or I just needed to clear my head, I would go to the beach by myself, or I would go to my secret hiding place, which was Griffith Park, and I would go to the top if you guys have been there before, and I would just take my journal and I would journal up there. And I used to live right by Griffith Park, so it was really like my go-to, and it was a beautiful space that I had. And you know, obviously I lived right there, but as my life changed, and again, things are always changing, I had to transform the ways that I honor myself, my spiritual acts and my rituals. So, you know, what my rituals were then aren't the same now, but I still implement rituals and things that I do on a daily and a weekly to just keep my life balanced and to keep me balanced. Self-discovery, and that's just honoring yourself at all stages, and surrender. I know that a lot of the times we want to control things and we start to panic and freak out, and maybe our heart starts to beat really fast. But there are a lot of things, most things actually in our life, that we just need to learn to surrender to, go with the flow, and just kind of throw our hands up and say, the universe is taking care of me. I got this. I'm going to go back to what that girl Brandy says, and I'm just going to breathe through this and remind myself that this isn't on me and I don't have control. I'm just going to surrender to the moment, surrender to the situation, and decompress and find my center. So those are some of the conducts of yoga. And truthfully, I really try to live by these. Not anyone is perfect. I'm not perfect. I might be a yoga guide, yoga teacher, whatever you want to call me, but I make mistakes all the time. But what the beauty is that I come back to this after every mistake. I recognize my mistakes. I bring awareness to them right away. I am not afraid to say that I messed up. I am not afraid to give an apology. I am not afraid to ask for an apology. I am not afraid to communicate. And what has really helped me to blossom in those areas is my physical yoga practice, yes, but really these amazing and powerful conducts of yoga. Okay, let's keep moving on. Next slide. So we went through some of the breathing. Something to remember is stop, drop, and roll. You guys have heard of stop, drop, and roll, like a fire, right? So stop in this case is bringing awareness. So if you're feeling frazzled, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stop. Try to think about what got you there in the first place. Try to connect to your mind. Try to connect to your center. Drop. The drop is the action behind, and that's the breathing. So you can inhale for 4 seconds, hold it at the top, and then exhale for 4 seconds. Do that 4 times controlled, and you'll find that you would have shifted your energy. And then the roll is connecting with somebody that you trust. Always have a trusted confidant. If you don't, maybe you should take some time to think about who that person is. Connect with someone you trust, or take the space that you need alone to move past these negative emotions. Once you start to connect to yourself, then to someone who cares, you will start to make better sense of your situation. That always helps me. So stop, drop, and roll. Let's go to the next slide. And this is really one of my favorite ones. Words have power. When we become overwhelmed, when we don't take care and do that inner and outer self-maintenance and take care of our mental health and our physical health, we start to really pile up on negativity and self-talk, negative self-talk. So you have to remember that the words that we think and the words that we then say have so much power. Creating a negative or a positive way of thinking is our choice. So the words that we use send a message to others, letting them know how we feel. So just remember that if you're positive and you're sending out positive words or being productive with your words, even in a bad situation, people are going to look to you. You're going to inspire others to shift their perspective. So which will you guys choose? Let's go to the next slide. Let's actually go to the next slide. So let's recognize, okay, some of these ways that we can practice. So turn your self-talk around. I'm going to use an example. This homework is so hard. I don't understand it. Oh my God, I feel so dumb. Everyone gets it except for me. I hate school. We can turn that around. This homework is so hard. I don't understand it right now. I'm going to ask my teacher for extra help. I know I can learn this and people are here to help me. I'm smart and I love a good challenge. So recognize where your negative thoughts are going and quickly turn it into a positive. That's awareness. Let's go to the next slide. Affirmations. And I know that we're running out of time. I'd like to end here because, oh my gosh, positive affirmations have helped me so much throughout the years. Affirmations are the practice of positive thinking and self-empowerment. So I have affirmations that I share on my website every week on Monday. So if you go to my website every Monday, or you can follow me on Instagram, and then I'm always reminding people of it, there's an affirmation or a mantra every Monday. And some of these are really inspiring to me. I deserve good things. I am amazing. I love to love. I matter. I am a fighter. I am good. I am beautiful. I can do this. So one thing I wanted us to do today is I wanted you to think of and create a unique affirmation just for you and share it with everybody. So I don't know if you want to do that right now and type it out. That would be awesome if you can. And we can share that, because when you share your positivity, you inspire others and you are an inspiration to other people. And maybe they make and create their affirmation and then they see yours and they're like, oh my God, I really like hers. But say these affirmations. Say your affirmation every morning that you wake up. Put it on a Post-it while you're brushing your teeth on your bathroom mirror. If you're upset, open your folder, look down and write it down. Say it, think it, share it. And I just know that by practicing this over and over for years, I believe in the power of affirming positive thinking. And I believe that that leads to manifesting such a beautiful, positive, magical almost life. So if things ever really get you down, just know that you can affirm, you can turn things around. Maybe not in a second, I'm not promising you guys anything. You have to put in the work. I have put in a lot of work and I'm continuing to. It is an ever growing, changing thing. You got to be committed to yourself. Stay committed to the affirmations. Stay committed to yourself. Can you go to the next slide? I know we're running out of time. I see those affirmations coming in. Benefits of positive thinking: what you think you attract, what you think you become, lowers rates of depression, lower levels of distress, brings in positive people to you. It's like a magnet, reduces emotional and physical pain, creates a better version of you, better cardiovascular health, better coping skills, strong immune system, brings peace and happiness. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, what I want you guys to do, I'm going to do this in 2 minutes. I want us to, if you typed your affirmation, awesome. If you're still thinking about it, I want you guys to close your eyes just for a second, okay? And I want you to just imagine lights from the very crown of your head going down into your throat, into your heart, into your navel, right in the center, right where your spirit lives, going down through your legs, and it lands at the bottom of your feet where you are grounded. Take a big deep breath in for me. Open your mouth, let go. Keep your eyes closed. I just want you to hear my guided words, uniquely produced, created divinely, just for you, just for today, just for this moment that I have with you. So close your eyes. Never feel ashamed of your feelings and thoughts. Life can get tough, confusing, and sometimes really scary. Release any fear that you may have and know that someone is out there waiting to connect and help you make sense of things. But if there is a time you might feel alone, please remember the coping mechanisms that we went through today: breathing, syncing breath to movement, replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and practicing your personalized affirmation. I'm here to remind you that you can overcome anything. You can make your life anything that you want it to be. Do not ever give up. Say it out loud. I know we're not going to be able to hear everybody, but say it and repeat after me. I release fear. I am brave. I invite love into my life. I am love. Take a big, deep breath in. Hold it at the top, open your mouth, release, let go. You go to the next slide. We're ending here. And another beautiful Sanskrit word, my favorite Sanskrit word that I want you to also remember is namaste, which means the light in me honors and respects the light in each of you, all of you guys that are watching today. I'm always moved and honored and just moved with emotion when I connect with people for these beautiful lessons, because I know that I'm living my purpose by sharing all of this information with you guys. I hope that you got something so productive and meaningful today. And if you guys have any questions, please reach out and ask me. I love helping and connecting with people. I raise my prayer hands to each of you and I share all of my namaste with you. So namaste.
Thank you so much, Brandy. Thank you for sharing this space with us. I'm going to open it up for just maybe a minute. If anybody has some questions for Brandy. But I just want to say that I love that you brought like this physical component to this summit today. It's been really difficult, you know, not doing this in person. So hopefully next time we'll all be together in person and be able to do some of these sessions with you.
Wonderful.
There is a question. They're saying, question, what does the image in the back, the hand with the eyes, symbolize?
That is my logo, Heart and Soul Yoga. So that hand is the yoga hand. And so it's sort of like the hand holds the lifelines, right? All those lines in your hand. But in the center of that lifeline is the eye. And our third eye is right here, right in the middle. If you go through our forehead and just kind of feel where that indentation is, that little dip in your forehead, everyone's is going to be different, but you can find a little dip. That is where your third eye is. And your third eye is your connection to your intuition. And your intuition is your guide. That little voice in your head that says, oh my gosh, don't eat that hamburger. Don't eat it. You've been doing so good. Don't do it. You're going to feel really bad. And then you eat it and you're like, oh, can I shit? Sorry. I shouldn't have ate that hamburger. I do feel bad. I was doing really good. And you're like, I should have listened. Or just that eerie feeling that you get, oh, maybe I shouldn't go down that dark alley. That seems weird. And then you get mugged or something. I mean, that's a really terrible example. I'm so sorry, but you know what I mean? Like your intuition, your guide, that little voice inside your head. And sometimes we don't trust ourselves and we don't listen to that voice. You're like, I should have listened to myself. I knew I shouldn't have done that. Big or small. It could be a hamburger or it could be a dark alley, whichever one. But it's sort of your moral compass that lives right here and it guides you. So when you connect to all those things, when you're eating really well and you're hydrated and you're doing all the stuff, it doesn't have to be super spiritual, but when you're just in alignment with yourself and you're feeling yourself like through that lifeline, through those chakras, your intuition will guide you and you will listen, you will trust yourself. So it is really important to treat your body right through food, through friends, through lots of different things.
We do have one
Trust
more
your
question,
intuition.
Brandy. Is that, so someone asked, the third eye kind of like your conscience then?
No, it's not. It's different. That's a whole different story. We're going to have to Zoom another time on that one.
Well, it seems like
those are the thoughts in the back of your head. Yeah, I can't even explain that. Like, oh boy, you guys, I gotta go. I'm just kidding. I just kidding.
I think
they're different. Those are different, and yeah, those are very different.
I think it opens up a lot of questions for everybody. And we would love to have another opportunity of an in-person event. So Brandy, we will definitely be getting in contact with you, because let me tell you, that little chair stretch really got me all nice and stretched out. I got really, I got a bad back. I've been doing the stretches my doctor's been telling me to do, and I just don't think they're doing it anymore. And that was a great stretch. So I needed that. And I appreciate it. So
good. I appreciate you guys. I don't know if there's more questions, but I thank you guys so much.
I don't see any more questions. If anybody else wants to ask something, you do have an opportunity.
I love your affirmations, you guys. Wow. Oh, those are beautiful. I am kind, smart, and important. Oh my gosh. I've gotten this far and will get farther. Yes. God made me perfect just the way I am, perfectly queen. I am seen. You guys, these are perfect. Those are so powerful. I'm going to cry. Going to leave with a tear in my eye. I love that. A good move for the morning, child's pose.
Was that
Thank you again, Brandy. All right, so before we get to our closing remarks, we do have one more person from our youth team, just to talk about another great program that can bring amazing resources and gift cards to all of youth in Los Angeles County. So I'm gonna let Jose take the floor.
Hi everyone, my name is Jose. I hope that you all are enjoying the summit today. I'm just here quickly to talk about Beyonce Spaces. It's a community building outreach service program for queer youth and family and caregivers. We offer support groups that are 6 sessions and we cover array of different topics with the youth and with parents. So if you're interested, please visit our Beyonce Spaces at, I will write it down in the chat. And per session that you come, you will receive a $20 gift card incentive. So there it is. And this, yeah. So this is our Beyonce Spaces Youth. It usually takes place via Zoom right now, but we also are working to have it in person at our Boyle Heights location. And these are the topics that we are going to cover with the youth, and we have our parent and family. So if you're a tío, tía, cousin, or caretaker of anyone that is LGTB identified or want to learn more, please feel free to join one of our support groups. And to learn a little bit more, you can go to BeyonceSpaces.TWLMP, and that's on Instagram. But yes, to summarize, it's a 6-week program, $20 incentive per session, and we are looking forward to have you all join us. And thank you so much for having me. This is our register for our support group for our parents. So if you know, or if you want to refer anyone, please let me know.
Thank you, Jose. Do you know how long the 6-week sessions are? Like how many times you guys meet?
We meet once a week, and we can, it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to 40 minutes, just depending on how interesting the topic is and how much in depth we want to go.
Oh, nice. So we're looking at $120.
Yes. $120 at the end of the session. And we have had youth who decide to wait until the last session to receive all of it at once. So that is also an option.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, thank you for letting us know, Jose. All right. So no worries. So I just want to begin to close out the program. I know we're running a little late. So I just want to thank all of you for joining the Rise Up and Act Youth Summit. I hope you all learned at least one thing that you can take away. I would like to thank everyone for attending today. I want to thank our presenters as well. I think Lisa really brought in that like spiritual side of self-care and mental health, like through manifestation boards and journaling. And then Brandy brought in that like physical component and like time for meditation through yoga. Like I want a takeaway to be that your well-being is like constant work and it's all interconnected, right? So from what you're thinking and telling yourself internally to the words you're saying and the actions you take in life. So please just be gentle with yourself. Being vulnerable and open, it's a power on its own, you know, like everyone else was talking about. And to get there, you have to give yourself that care and get to know yourself constantly, because it's definitely a maintenance that you need for yourself. So most importantly, I also want to thank our participants and our youth panel. Without your leadership and your willingness to just share and be vulnerable, like none of this would be possible. And then lastly, I just want to thank all of you who joined us for taking the time of your day. Thank you for your support again. We hope that you can use this information to start implementing self-care into your own lives and just do some self-care of your own outside of the summit today, because it's a beautiful day.
Yes, I wanted to take an opportunity myself to thank all of the presenters for being here today. And again, for making this special for everyone here, including the youth in our program. And again, I am so glad that you all took the time for yourself to be here, be present, and to learn something new to care for yourself. Please don't forget to follow us on Rise Up and Act so that you can continue to be updated on all of our events. I also have on the screen 2 QR codes that you can point your phone at with the camera, and it will take you to become part of our program. So if you're between the ages of 12 to 17, you can sign up to be an advocate. Or if you're 18 to 26, you can sign up to be a mentor. We have meetings on Thursdays. And if you're interested in participating in any future events, please reach out to us. We're hoping to put more in-person events. I'm definitely gonna have to reach out to Brandy because I need that yoga stretch to go on. And again, thank you. Please continue to care for yourselves and those around you, and we'll see you next time. So thank you, everybody.